Some essential questions for this section. What is the customer branded portal? What is the process for suppliers to register in a sourcing event? How do suppliers respond? What is the evaluation process? What resources exist to make running sourcing events easier? By the end of this session, you'll be able to explore Sourcing Director and how it addresses key business needs for clients, create sourcing events, invite suppliers to bid on sourcing events, evaluate events for approval. Now let's discuss the supplier's experience. The supplier's experience. We're going to take a look at the customer branded portal, supplier registration, supplier responses, and the Q&A board. When we take a look at the typical RFX process of a sourcing event, this is the life cycle that it takes. A buyer creates and submits an event. Approvers will review and approve the event. Events are then released to suppliers. Suppliers then review, indicate their intent to respond. Bids are reviewed and evaluated, and then evaluation approval happens. At this point, we're going to discuss how suppliers access the invitation and determine if they're interested in participating in an event or not. Once the event has been submitted and been approved, an invitation will go out to suppliers. It looks similar to this. It'll give the details of the event number, when it opens, as well as when the event closes, and who the issuing company is. There will also be a link for them to access the sourcing event. The supplier portal configuration takes place on your host site. You'll access that by going to Supplier Portal Configuration. Here's where you can display the external name of what the suppliers will see, what the link looks like, and whatever imaging is going to be included on your supplier portal site. Once a supplier gets that invitation and clicks to view the site, this is an example of what they will see. They will have the option to enter their email and click Next. Once they select Next, if they have an account already created, they'll be prompted to enter in their password. If they do not have an account created, they can click the Create Account button. This page can also be viewed in multiple languages. Notice the English drop-down. If a supplier needs to change the language, they'll select that drop-down to appropriate language. Once a supplier successfully logs in to this event, they'll land on the home page where they can view the event, which looks similar to this. Here's where the supplier will have their own home page, see documents, look at reporting, registration, admin, and sourcing details. Here they can see events that they've been invited to. They can sort based on what has been recently opened, recently closed, etc. If they've already submitted an event or submitted a bid for an event, they can click on View the Submitted Responses. If they need to access a new event, they can click View Event. Once the View Event button is selected, they'll land into the event itself. Here as well, they'll see the details as far as how long the event will be open, any questions and answers for the event, and they can start their own wizard. First order of business here is to proceed to the prerequisites. Prerequisites, first step is the intent to bid. Here's where the supplier will indicate if they intend to participate in the sourcing event or not. If they click intend to bid as yes, notice the pencil. Here's where they can come in and edit. At any point, they can change it to no bid and give a reason. The reason is optional and save those details. Suppliers also have the option to ask questions. They can ask a question by giving a subject to the question, typing in their question, and there's an option to add a file. Then finally, the supplier will click Submit Question. That question will then be presented to the buying team. Once a supplier completes each of the wizards, they then have to finalize their bid by clicking on the I certify that the statement and information in this response is true and correct. Then they will click Submit Response. Once that response has been submitted, the supplier will get an overview of the bid that they have submitted and the date and time in which they have to withdraw or change the bid.